Fairfield is a hub or a like neural network for ley lines. If you know what ley lines are, they're like cross paths of natural energy. This little ass place in the middle of nowhere draws in, if you pan this every color, every creed, every religion, everybody. For what though? For a particular reason and purpose that we won't know until we're done in these skin suits. Or when we're just like, we've reached a state of like all knowing. How you get there, there's a whole bunch of different ways. But I do think that the natural energy of the whole place plays a huge role in drawing all of these different types of creatives, leaders, and just like community activists, you know. But TM is a phenomenal tool for good and not so good. It helps a lot of people clear a lot of motherfucking karma. But also, it brings up a whole lot of shit that a lot of people, a lot of humans in their psyches is not ready for. And this place doesn't provide the proper, like, support, guidance.
Aftercare for trans.
Mental support.
I feel like aftercare is such a good word.
Aftercare is crucial.
Yeah, it does not provide that, and there's a lot of times where they've had people like lose their fucking shit. Yeah, they don't want to talk about the shadow. They don't want to talk about the darkness. But like, if we can't talk about light without there being darkness. Like that doesn't happen. It doesn't work. Trial, tribulation, pain, suffering, rejection. I'm so sorry. Fear, everything else. And in order to manifest bliss, you have to address all of those and overcome them. TM allows for that, but the TM movement gets in the way of people really addressing the darkness that pops up in themselves. But we can use this experience that elicited this emotion of fear as an opportunity to reflect and grow. But it's fucking dope out here.
I know.
That's honestly one of the pluses of Fairfield, but with that same stroke, you will also find a lot of that toxic positivity here.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people come in, especially at MIU, like I just graduated a year ago from there, so I feel like I could attest this really well. Like you come in with these rose-colored glasses and you're like, wow, life is amazing, and you just get thrown into this blissful state for like a semester. and then slowly but surely all the shadows and BS of the school start really coming through. That you come in just seeing the light, and then you kind of go into the darkness, and either people leave or they stay and kind of push through it. And I've seen people kind of evolve to this like new spiritual sense where it's just like this realistic like light and dark. So like our theme with our event that we're doing is just the balance of it all. But like because we're so small here and so like art centric in this town, it's really been like this natural organic music scene that's developing. There's people that are like low-key famous that live here, that are behind the scenes like helping feed it, because they're like, yes,
it's so true.
It's what this town needs, honestly.
I've been in Fairfield for 14 years. It doesn't feel like 14 years, but that's kind of something that happens here. This place is its own little bubble for sure. The social scene here is pretty, I don't know, like lacking, so to speak. There's not a lot to do, and the things that you can do are like go to the bar. You get lightning storms, those are really cool. The nature's always really nice, like the skies at night and stuff, you can see a lot. But he's like, oh yeah, I'm in this place in Iowa, like you should check it out, you'd probably really like it. And then I looked online and I'm like, this place isn't real, you know, like it was just like, it looked like, I don't know, like Hogwarts or like a Harry Potter school or something, or people frolicking through the flowers and eating organic food. Being in the city is a lot, like when you're like in your early 20s and stuff, it was fun, but it was very fast paced and there was a lot going on. So coming here and seeing just how things were a bit slower and just like it felt more intentional, and it was calm, and like the people really nice, that was appealing to us. One of the things that I was the most excited about coming here was just the level of diversity. But there aren't many like African Americans here at all, and we would have like lunches together, and there was like maybe like 8 to 10 of us at the lunch every once in a while. And that was something led by like an older person in town who just thought it would be nice to like have, you know, get-togethers. I meet people and they're like, so where are you from? And I'm just like, oh, well, you know, I have a studio in this little small town in Iowa. Like, I don't want to say like Fairfield.
Do you feel like it's because of the connotations of the university and stuff, or?
Honestly, yeah, kind of. I don't mind explaining it to people, but it's also just like, it's like really cool things about the place that just, I don't know, make it appealing to me. And maybe that's just, I don't know, my lifestyle. Like, it's definitely something that I keep coming back to, even when I leave. So there's something here. It's probably drugs in the coffee. Convinced.
I was drinking a lot and smoking a lot and driving everywhere fucked up a lot, and it was dangerous. Where I'm from is a bit ghetto, so I just needed a new environment. I forget how I found this place, but I think that it was the Jim Carrey commencement speech. He made a massive painting too, so I was like pretty interested. So I think that's what had gotten me here. It's been like 6 years now I've been trapped. Coming out here just like was really impactful, like in the sense, like nature-wise, like everything's green, there's a lot of trees. Most people that I had met when I like first got here that were locals, they didn't really like the campus, or like they didn't really care about it. I don't know. They thought it was culty, or you know, they just didn't want anything to do with it.
Some of like the like townies are actually like really like open-minded and like kind of like really like artsy, but then like some of the meditators are like kind of like
judgmental.
Hyper, like they're like hyper conservative.
City. I grew up there.
years of my life. And yeah, Fairfield it's such a mixed bag, because like, yeah, there's a lot of like freedom to be yourself, but there is also like kind of like what you were saying, that like with spirituality and that kind of overly positive, like there are things like, you know, mental health issues that kind of don't get addressed, or maybe like not, like people get taken advantage of because of like power dynamics not really being fully clear,
Like
or
with mentors.
yeah, that kind of thing, that unfortunate trope, or just like a lack of boundaries in general. There's kind of a separation between like the townies and the roos. They both kind of think they're better than the other people.
Right.
And honestly, like the farmers here, we might not have like similar political viewpoints or life goals, but like they're really nice. Like in Iowa, everybody's really nice. Like I've never learned TM, haven't had an interest in it. Like I went to see other like Indian gurus. I was raised like extremely Hindu. Grew up in a temple, which was like, they're not quite Vedic, they're kind of like on the fringe of that. Being in a spiritually driven community drew a lot of spirituality here. Like people like Amma, the hugging saint, would come to Mount Pleasant, and there was other teachers that would come through. But there was also a huge amount of secrecy that came with that, because they would like legit, like they've since become more open and accepting, but like back in like the 90s and the early 2000s, like you couldn't meditate in the domes if you were not 100% committed to that path. Like I definitely think there's like a lot of energy here. I don't necessarily know if there's more here than like other places in Iowa. Believing so deeply in this like system of, you do this, you get this, like this is what you're working towards, these are your rules, this is what you have to be. It kind of went through like a crisis of belief. Ended up like doing some pretty heavy deculting, which is a thing. Talked to people about that, and an aunt actually to it, and it was like a combination of mental health issues and this quest for this divine promise, and it kind of overshadowed her whole life, and a fear of mine, but like trying to come back to finding some sort of belief
But you can like hang
that's
on to
tangible.
a little bit.
Like, I don't want to put anybody between me and God, or
Right.
goddess, or whoever the fuck's up there.
Right.
Don't want to answer to anybody.
So like one of the earliest experiences I had, I was probably like 4 years old. It's a really weird memory because I don't remember shit else. I just remember staying at my aunt's place and I was afraid of the dark. And my cousin like hated sleeping with lights on. Like she wasn't afraid of the dark. And I'm complaining because I wanted a nightlight on. My aunt's like, go ahead, turn on the nightlight. My cousin's fussing and whatnot. And she said something that stuck with me, and I don't know why it stuck with me so hard, but it just made sense, and it still rings in my head to this day. She was talking to my aunt. She's like, he shouldn't have the nightlight on because it's going to cast more shadows, and that's what's scary. It's not actually the dark, it's the shit that you see when it's supposed to be dark. And when we went to bed, because I was sharing a room with her, she started pointing it out. Like the nightlight was on, but then she like sat with me and unplugged it and was like, look. She opened up the window and she showed me all the shadows being cast, and then the wind blew and she showed me how the shadow moved when the tree moved, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then I kind of stopped being afraid of the dark. But now in my life, like there's been this theme of darkness, and it's like we get so afraid of the dark, but it's not like an actual darkness. Like we're out here in the dark right now. It's not phasing. It's the darkness inside. So when it's so dark, the question then is, are you afraid of the dark, or are you afraid of what you think you can't see? It's like, well, if you can't see anything, then what is there to be afraid of?